You are lying still now, but the universe around you is not. It stretches, curves, breathes, and you are cradled inside it. What is space, really? Not just emptiness, but the stillness between things. And your body, it's made not of solidness, but of distance and arrangement. Atoms held gently apart by invisible forces. Time moves too, not as a ticking clock, but as a river you float within. And that river flows different lighting on where you are. Even now, as you rest, space may be bending beneath you. Light may be measuring the moments of your breath, and the now you feel may already be part of the past. A ripple far away may be reaching you, a tremor in space itself, whispering across galaxies inside you. Time stretches and shrinks. Your mind is not just in time, it shapes it, and so we drift toward the edges of space and the end of time. And even before it all began, this is your story, too. Separate from the stars, but suspended within them. So breathe and begin. Chapter 1. The stillness between things. What is space, really? Not just emptiness, but a quiet container. This chapter explores the in-between, where silence holds galaxies apart and also holds you, here and now. You are floating, not through air, not through water, but through something quieter. You're not falling. You're not rising. You're simply here, suspended. The world outside is hushed, and beyond that, beyond buildings, mountains, clouds, there is space, endless, vast, shimmering with stars. But between those stars, what between those stars? What space? It seems like nothing, but nothing is not empty. Close your eyes and picture 2 stars. One on your left, glowing amber and quiet. One on your right, flickering silver in the dark. Between them is not absence, but a field soft, invisible, real. This in-between is not silent out of neglect, but out of care. It gives each star a place to shine without crashing into the other. This is space, not a void, but a stage, not barren, but waiting. You might imagine it as a canvas. Galaxies are strokes of light, but the canvas is what lets them exist at all. Without it, there would be no backdrop, no contrast, no frame. And just as stars are spaced apart, so are the particles that make you. Your body is made of atoms, and each atom is made of a tiny nucleus, surrounded by electrons spinning far away. Between the nucleus and the electrons, space. If your body were magnified 1,000,000 times, you would see more distance than matter. You are mostly space, structured into the shape of a person, a walking stillness, a breathing in between. This idea feels strange at first, to think that solidity is built on emptiness. But perhaps this emptiness isn't lacking. Perhaps it is gentle, necessary, a quiet that lets you exist without noise outside your window. The night sky stretches. It feels cold, but not cruel, vast, but not vacant. Space, they once thought, was a vacuum, a place without anything. But over time, we learned it hums softly with energy. It ripples when touched by mass. It curves around stars. It holds galaxies in its palm. Even light must travel through it. Even gravity flows across it. It is not a stage. Someone built it. Is the structure itself. Sometimes you might feel alone, but you are never outside of space. You are always cradled in it. Whether in motion or in rest, you are suspended in the same fabric. Thought stretches from here to the edges of the observable universe. You breathe in that breath, enters your lungs, but it also stirs the space inside your chest. Tiny molecules finding room, the world within, echoing the world without. Imagine the space between leaves in a forest, between notes in a lullaby, between footsteps on a path. These are not interruptions, they are invitations. They make room for meaning, and space does the same in the largest scale you can imagine. Without it, the stars would collapse into a single point. Time would have nowhere to go. You would have nowhere to be. Even now, as you lie here, your body is surrounded by stillness in your room, your thoughts, your cells. And in that stillness, support. Scientists once believed in the ether, a ghostly medium they thought must fill space because it felt too strange to believe in nothing at all. Later, they discarded that idea, but in its place came something even more elegant. Space isn't filled by something. It is something. It stretches, it flexes, it carries light, it listens when gravity speaks. You might picture it like fabric woven, so fine you can't see it, but strong enough to carry entire galaxies. When a planet moves, it doesn't just go, it rolls along a curve in space, like a marble on soft cloth. Even now, under Earth's gravity, you are part of that curve, not falling, not flying, just nestled. Space cradles you in an invisible well, holding you to the surface of the world with a quiet firmness, and all around, the universe continues, spilling out in every direction, but never spilling over, because space expands gently, making room as it goes. You've heard that the universe is expanding. It's not growing into something, it's making more space everywhere, all the time. Even the distance between galaxies grows. Even the distance between light itself lengthens. It travels toward your eyes. The more we look, the more we realize space is not an absence of things, it is the potential for them. It's what lets matter have shape. It's what lets time have flow. It's what lets you rest right now in a bed, on a planet, in a solar system, in a galaxy, suspended. In silence, there is a kind of peace in that, not just smallness, but connectedness. You are never falling through nothing. You are always held by something deeper than touch. So tonight, as you lie back and feel the pillow beneath your head, remember, there is space within you, space around you, space between every moment. It is not lonely, it is not lacking. It is the soft pause between stars, between atoms, between thoughts, and just beyond that thought, where space grows quietest, something else begins to move, a slow ripple, a gentle drift forward in time. Toward Chapter 2, you are made of distances. Your hands are not solid things, but space, structured and alive. This chapter gently reveals how atoms are mostly empty and how you are sculpted by separation. You lift your hand into the dim light of your room. It feels solid, real, familiar as breath. You see your fingers, your palm, the gentle texture of your skin. You wiggle them slightly, and it all seems certain. You are made of matter. But tonight, we slow down that certainty. We lean closer. We soften the boundary between what's sin and what lies just beneath, because your hand, this thing you trust to touch the world, is mostly space, more emptiness than substance, more distance than presence. Each fingertip holds billions upon billions of atoms, and each of those atoms, those tiny, invisible units of you, is a universe in itself, a swirling center called a nucleus, surrounded by electrons dancing in clouds of probability. And between those particles, space, if an atom were the size of a cathedral, its nucleus would be a speck of dust at the center, the rest empty, silent, waiting, and yet, somehow, you are whole. Somehow, this emptiness builds form. Somehow, you feel solid in your skin. This is the gentle paradox of your being. You are structured by gaps, held together by forces, not by walls, the electrons. In your atoms never truly touch anything. They shimmer in orbitals, obeying the rules of quantum mechanics, the strange dance that defines everything small. It is not touch that keeps you intact, but the resistance of those electrons, the way they push back against any attempt to press too close. This is why your body doesn't fall through the chair, why you don't drift apart like mist. Not because matter is dense, but because space has structure, and the spaces within you hold shape. You are not a collection of marbles packed together. You are more like a symphony, each note spaced precisely so that silence sings between the sounds. When you breathe in, air flows into your lungs, molecules settling into alveoli-like soft snowflakes, finding ground. But each of those molecules, mostly space. 2. The breath inside you, as sculpted by destinations, the body that inhales it. Even your heart, that rhythmic keeper of your time, is made of atoms spaced apart, fluttering with motion, never quite still, never quite touching. And so, separation becomes a kind of connection, not a barrier, but a bridge. You are held together by relationships between particles, between energies, between fields invisible to the eye. And in that holding, you are shaped. You are not solid like stone. You are solid like a web, flexible, resilient, alive. Think of a spider's web in morning mist, nearly invisible, but strong enough to hold dew. Or think of a bubala shimmering film of water and air, light, playing on its surface, structure born from tension and balance. This is the architecture of you, delicate, yet unbreakable, empty, yet complete. You rest now in your bed, and that bed, too, is mostly space. Its atoms echo yours, fields, resisting fields, so you may rest without falling through the chair, the blanket, the planet beneath you, all made of spaces so small they seem like substance. But if you could zoom in far enough, you would see the illusion dissolve. You would float among particles, like stars scattered across a sky so wide it has no edge. Even your thoughts, those flickers in your mind, rely on space. Neurons fire across synaptic gapstiny distances where chemicals drift, translating motion into memory, emotion into electricity. Your very sense of self is shaped by these spaces where one thing ends and another begins. And yet, how close we are. The atoms in your handwear, forged in stars billions of years ago. The carbon in your body ends, floated in clouds of dust. The iron in your blood was born in the heart of a supernova. Before you were you. You were space. And before that, you were light. There is comfort in this. You are not a mistake of solidness. You are a miracle of arrangement. Everything you has been touched by distance. Your shape is made by what is not there. And that shape allows you to be here, now, breathing, dreaming, listening. You are not the end point of matter. You are the in-between made conscious. You are the pulse between creation and collapse. You are the echo of forestill, humming from the birth of time. And this beautiful, spacious you rests quietly tonight inside. A universe of thought mirrors your emptiness. The galaxies, too, are scattered by design. The stars, too, are spaced apart. And in those distances, gravity weaves its threads. Separation does not mean loneliness. It means room to move, room to grow, room to become. And so, you drift gently toward sleep, your body humming with spaces, your mind held softly by silence. The stillness between things is not something to be feared. It is the place where you begin. And as you rest in this truth, a new question rises. If you are made of distances, then what carries you forward through time itself? Something stirs not in your body, but in the current that carries you. And so we drift now toward chapter 3, Time, the river that moves you. You cannot hold time, but you feel it passing through you. Like water, it carries memories, drifting you forward gently even in sleep. You lie here, still and quiet, but something in you is always moving. Even in perfect stillness, you are floating downstream, not through space, but through time. Time doesn't knock or flash. It doesn't leave footprints, but you feel its current, soft, invisible, constant, always pulling you forward. Whether you're ready or not, it flows when you are awake, and it flows when you sleep. It flows through every breath you take. And through the quiet between heartbeats, it flows even now. You cannot see time, but you see its traces in wrinkles, in rust, in the fading of light, in the way children grow, and seasons shift, in the way your reflexively becomes a story. Time is not just the ticking of clocks. Time is change. A tree in springtime, the slow melt of ice, the sound of your name whispered years ago, of it carried be time's quiet. River, you are not beside this river, you are in it. It carries you the way a current carries a leaf, gently, naturally, without asking. You were born into its waters, and from your first breath, you began to drift. Some days, you try to swim upstream. You revisit old memories. You long for moments now gone, but the river never turns back. It only flows forward, and yet too can look back. Memory is your way of glancing over your shoulder, seeing where the river has carried you. Every time you remember, you slow the moment down. You pause the current just long enough to feel it again. A childhood laugh, a sunset walk, the warmth of a hand in yours. Your mind stores these echo-steeny eddies in the stream. They do not stop the flow, but they soften it. Time may move in one direction, but you are allowed to linger. You might think of time as a straight line, but it's more like a winding river. Sometimes it seems fast days disappear in the blink of a week. Other times it stretches a moment of waiting that feels like forever. And this is where the science whispers in, because time, it turns out, is not as steady as we once believed. Time can bend, it can stretch, it can slow. Einstein saw this clearly. He taught us that time and space here, woven together into something called space-time, a soft, pliable fabric thought, responds to gravity and motion. When you move quickly, really quickly, time flows differently for you. This isn't just a thought experiment, it's real. Astronauts who orbit Earthage ever so slightly slower, those on the ground, their clocks tick more slowly. Their heartbeat, from our view, moves through time just a little more gently, and gravity plays its part. The stronger the gravity, the slower time moves. Your feet experience time just a hair differently than your head, because your feet are closerto, Earth's center of gravity. It's a difference so small, you can't feel it, but it's their whisper of time's flexibility. So time is not one river, but many streams, flowing at slightly different speeds, depending on where and how you exist. Still, your experience of it, how it feels to you most. You know how time stretchession, you're waiting for news, or how it disappearsion, you're deep in laughter, or how the hours dissolving the hush of night. Your brain, too, is a timekeeper, not a mechanical clock, but a rhythm maker. Neurons fire in waves, chemicals shift with cycles, and your sense of now is built from patterns woven inside your mind. Dreams stretch seconds into stories. Concentration shortens hours into moments. Grief makes time stop. Joy makes it vanish. So when you say, "I don't know where the time went," you are telling the truth. Because in some ways, it's not time you measure, but feeling. Even sleep has its rhythm. You drift through cycles, light, deep, dreaming, then back again. Your body is tuned to time. Circadian rhythms your inner you, when to rise, when to rest, when to simply be, and the earth, spinning gently beneath you, adds its own beat. One full turn a day, one path around the sun. A year. Cosmic rhythms mirrored inside you. You are a clock made of cells, each one ticking in time, renewing, repairing, responding. And when you listen closely, you can feel that rhythm in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the quiet pulse behind your eyes. There's peace in knowing you are part of time. Not fighting it, you are not behind, you are not late, you are simply in the flow. Tonight, the river moves gently. There is no rush here, no deadlines, only softness. You rest in the current. Let it carry you, let it soothe you, because even though you can't see it, you are moving through time, through story, through the unfolding of your own quiet universe. And if time is a river, then perhaps memory is its shoreline, places you can step back without ever leaving the flow. And what about the stars? They too are shaped by time. Their light takes years, sometimes thousands, even millions to reach you. So when you look up, you are not seeing the stars as they are, but as they were. You are always looking backward in time, even as you gaze forward in space. So perhaps the past is not gone. Perhaps it is still shining somewhere in this river. Your first breath still echoes somewhere. Your favorite moments drift beside you, and ahead, just out of sight, the river continues. What lies beyond the bend? A question that stirs softly as a breeze on water, and so you turn gently, still afloat, toward Chapter 4, Clocks in the Sky. Why does time run differently on mountaintops? We float through Einstein's gentle discoveries of gravity's soft pull on seconds, and how your heart is always ticking at a speed shaped by place. You rest, nestled in the soft curve of night. The sky above you holds its secrets gently. Stars shimmer, each one a quiet titchking, the great cosmic clock. And still, your own clock beats within you, your heart steady and sure, your breath rising and falling in time. But what if you learned that these ticks and breaths, these invisible rhythms, do not pass the same way for everyone, everywhere? Time, you felt, flows smoothly like water. But tonight, we visit a truth more delicate. Time bends, time curves, time responds. close your eyes and imagine a mountain, its snowy peak brushing the cold edge of sky. Now picture a valley far below quiet, dark, carved deep into the earth. In both places, a clock ticks. One high, one low. Side by side in design, but gently out of step. The clock atop the mountain ticks slightly faster. Its seconds stretch a little less. The one below, deeper in gravity's grip, ticks slower. The difference is so small you wouldn't notice by eye, but it's their measurable, real. Gravity, that gentle anchor, pulls not only on your body, but on time itself. Einstein showed us this. He taught that time is not a backdrop, not a steady drumbeat behind all things. Instead, time is part of the fabric of space-time, a weave that stretches and curves whenever mass is near. The more gravity there is, the more time slows, like syrup thickening in a bowl. Sticky, slow-moving, soft. So on Earth, time flows differently. Ding on your height, you are, in a sense, aging faster. On a planethon, you are on the beach, and faster still if you were orbiting above Earth. Light as thought among the stars, it sounds impossible. But our satellites know it well. The GPS in your phone is so ordinary, so constant. Trillies on clocks in the sky, and those clocks tick just a bit quicker than those on the ground. Engineers must account for this, adjusting for the tiny time shift caused by the difference in gravity. If they didn't, your location would drift, and the world beneath your feet would become a guessing game. So even now, as you lie still, you are linked to orbiting clocks that keep time different, just because they float higher. You and the satellites are both in the same flow of time, but your streams ripple at different speeds. Even your heart is part of this rhythm. If you could take your resting pulse in a mountaintop and then in a valley, you'd find time swaying just a little to gravity's lullaby. And what a tender thing to realize that time is not just a number, but a feeling shaped by place. Not all seconds are equal. Some stretch softly in deep wells of gravity. Others glide more freely where space is wide and open. Imagine a black hole, a place where gravity is so strong, light itself cannot escape. Near its edge, time slows dramatically. A minute close to its surface might equal years far away. You wouldn't feel the change to you. Time would feel normal, but to an outside observer, you would appear frozen, suspended in near endless pause. This isn't science fiction, it's the poetry of physics. And so you begin to wonder, if time can slow, can it be stretched? Can it be shaped? You are already part of this shaping. When you lie down at night, your body releases itself into gravity's pull. You settle deeper into the curve of the planet, and even that curve slows your seconds ever so slightly. But don't worry, there's no race. There's no need to catch up. You and time are not adversaries. You are companions, moving together through the softness of now. So tonight, you lie a little closer to Earth's center, the trees above, than the birds. In flight, their time moves a hair faster, yours a touch slower. And yet, here you are, together in the same moment. The sky holds its clocks, the mountains theirs, and you, nestled in bed, carry yours beneath your skin. You don't need to measure it, you only need to feel it. The rhythm of your breath, the pause between thoughts, the steady turning of the world beneath you. Each place shapes time in its own way, and perhaps each person, too, shapes their own version of time through memory, attention, and meaning. You are not simply inside time. You are part of how it's made. And if time can stretch under gravity's weight, what might stretch it inside your mind? What happens, for instance, when time moves not by clocks, but by light? That, dear traveler, is where we float next. Toward Chapter 5, the shape of where you are. Space can bend, curve, and stretch, not flat, but alive like cloth in wind. This chapter invites you to rest in the folds of space-time, cradled in cosmic geometry. You are lying still, but you are not. On a flat plane, you are nestled in a curve, a soft dip in the fabric of something far grander than floorboards and blankets. Close your eyes and imagine SpaceNet as emptiness, but as something you could touch, something with weight, something that stretches and dips and breathes. You are not just in space, you are in space-time, a quiet fabric that wraps around everything: the earth, the moon, the stars. It is not made of threads, but of relationships, of where and when, of here and now. Einstein once asked us to stop thinking of graphias, a force pulling downward, and to start imagining etus, the shape space takes one. Something with mass settles into it. Picture a sheet of silk stretched wide and tight. Now place a marble in its center. The sheet curves around it. That curve is gravity, not a pull, but a slope. The earth rests in space-time like that marble, and the moon rolls gently around its curve. You, too, are drawn along the dip, not pulled, but flowing. You're cradled in the earth's pocket, the place you arise, not just a location, it is a shape. Space is not flat. No matter how it feels, it is bent by mass. It is curved by motion. It is alive with form. You are always falling inward, toward the center of Earth's curve, but the ground catches you, and so you walk, and sleep, and dream, gentle, free fall. Even light must follow the curves. A beam that seems straight bends as it nears the sun, not because the sun grabs it, but because space itself is shaped differently there. Light travels along what space-time says is a straight path, but that path curves because space-time curves. So when you look at stars near the edge of the sun, you are not seeing them quite where they are. Their light has bent to reach you. You are seeing their truth through a warped lens called gravity. This bending is not just dramatic near black holes. It is happening here, right now, in the quiet around your body. Your mass small, though it may be, also shapes space-time. You are not a passive passenger. You are an author of the curve. Even a thought, even a step, sits within this curved geometry. You are not just somewhere. You are shaped by where you are. Imagine if you could see spacity, not in stars and colors, but in texture, like a living blanket, rippled and furrowed and folded by every planet, every atom, every heartbeat. You would see deep wells where stars live, wide, gentle dips where galaxies swirl, sharp indentations where black holes hide, and between them all soft, stretched plains where space is calm and wide. And where are you? You are a small, perfect folder, ripple in the weave. You matter because you have mass. You give space its shape. Your existence adds form to the universe. So when you move, you change the shape of where you are. When you rise from bed, walk to the window, you are not just shifting position. You are rewriting the curvain, that corner of space-time. Even motion leaves an imprint. a planet that moves on the shape around it. The distortion travels like a wave on water, carrying the memory of that move meant across the cosmos. These are gravitational waves, soft tremors in the fabric of the universe. They are real. We've heard them. The whispers of two black holes colliding, echoing billions of years across Spacettamito, finally reach Earth. And what do they pass through? You, right now, tiny, silent ripples passing through your bones and pillow and skin, too faint to feel. But there, you are not separate from this grand structure. You are within it. You are of it. You are shaping it. There is no edge to space ETI, no outer wall. It does not stretch into something else. It is the stage, and it bends without breaking. This means there is no absolute up or down, no universal straight. There is only curve, only relative place and pace. You may be sitting upright, but to someone across the world, you are upside down, and yet gravity still holds you both. Space-time still cradles you both, without contradiction. There's beauty in this, flexibility, in this forgiving geometry that allows the universe to hold so much without falling apart. You, in your small corner of space, are part of this soft scaffolding. You do not need to understand every law. You only need to feel the comfort of it, that nothing in the universe floats alone. Everything rests in a curve, in a fold, in a shape made by being. Tonight, you are lying, not on a flat surface, but in a bowl carved gently by your weight, your warmth, your presence, and above you. The stars are not scattered at random. They are nestled in their own curves, their own slow spirals, each one a punctuation marking the story space-time tells. So next time you feel lost, remember, there is no straight path, only curved ones, only shapes, drawn by motion and meaning. And what draws those shapes? Often it's light, the quiet painter that marks the edges of space, measuring what distance is, what time has passed, which brings us gently forward toward Chapter 6, Light as a measure of everything. Light is more than brightness. It's the ruler the universe trusts. We wander with photons through the dark, learning how light's steady pace defines all distances and moments. You lie here quietly, eyes half closed, as the dark around you softens. Somewhere outside, a light glows, a street lamp, a star, a flickering memory, and even with your eyes shut, you can almost feel it. Light has always been with you. From your first blink to this quiet breath, it has guided your waking moments, shining, reflecting, glowing, sometimes warm, sometimes distant. But light is more than what you see. It is not just brightness. It is not just color. It is the thread the universe Eucesto measures space and time. Imagine this. You are floating in a vast black ocean. No sound, no air, no gravity to weigh you down. How would you know what far means, what soon means, without something steady, something that always moves the same way? You would be lost not just in space, but in meaning. Light is that something. It moves at a pace that never changes. No matter where in the universe you are, light travels at 299,792 kilometers per second. It never speeds up. It never slows down. It simply moves. The most faithful traveler we've ever known. So the universe has chosen light as its ruler. It uses the time it takes for light to travel to define distance. 1 light year is not a poetic idea. It is a measurement. It is how far light can go in a year. and it means something. You are not seeing it now. You are seeing it as it was 100 years ago. The light left it then, and tonight it finally reaches you. So, in a way, every night sky is a museum, a gallery of ancient light, preserved perfectly in motion. You are not just looking out into space, you are looking back through time. Even the sun, which feels so immediate, is 8 minutes old, be the time its light touches your skin. And yet, light feels fast, instant, like a blink, like thought, but nothing outruns it. Not sound, not motion, not even the fastest part. By the rhythm of lights stands within an atom, dot, and the meter, that basic unit of length, is based on how far light travels in that 1 second. So when you speak, or walk, or dream, you are moving within a system calibrated to the flicker of photons. Your phone connects to satellites, measuring how long it takes light to bounce between Earth and orbit. Every position it gives you, every map you follow is a calculation based on light's unwavering speed. Even your eyes, those silent gatherers, are tools made for light. Photons, tiny packets of energy, stream into your pupils. They dance against celestit, turn them into signals, into color, into shape, into memory. Every color you've ever known is just a ripple in light's motion. Red waves stretch longer, blue waves bunch close, and your mind turns these ripples into skies, into flowers, into sunsets, and still carries fingerprints every atom it meets. And through those marks, we read the universe like a slow-burning letter. Even the whisper of the Big Bang, that soft glow, still drifting through spaces, a form of light. We call it the cosmic microwave background. It is not bright, not visible, but it is there, quiet, faded afterglow from when the universe was very young. It travels, still, unhurried, untouched, the memory of light before there were stars, before there were eyes to see it. And here you are, cradled in bed, bathed in starlight has traveled farther than you ever will. You are a resting point for a photon's journey, a gentle pause in its long, straight path. And though light seems fragile, so easily blocked by walls or lids, it is not easily lost. It reflects, it bends, it stretches, it even curves around massive things like stars and black holes, bending spacito, follow the shape of where it travels. So in the end, light does not just show the way, it creates the way, it draws the lines, it keeps the beat. And what about the light within you? Your body, too, glows faintly, not with brightness, but with warmth. Infrared light, soft and unseen, leaves your skin, even now, traveling outward, into the quiet air. You, too, are a lighthouse, a tiny beacon, a flicker in the long dark dot. And so, as your eyes begin to rest, you lie here not in darkness, but in the soft hum of light's journey, light that defines where you are. Can it whisper to Uswan, something is coming closer? In Chapter 7, The Illusion of Now. What is now when stars are centuries old? This chapter rocks gently in paradox, where past and future blend in the present, is more like a feeling than a fact. You lie here, quiet and still, and somewhere in your chest, a soft rhythm continues. Heartbeat, breath, thought. It feels like now, this moment, this exact point in time. You are here, not earlier, not later, here, but gently. The universe disagrees, because the present, this moment, you trust so deeply, is not as simply as it seems. The stars above you, some are already gone, their light still arrives, soft and steady, like a memory that travels without knowing it's late, and the moon. It glows with sunlight that left the sun over 8 minutes ago. By the time it reaches your eye, that light is already old. Everywhere you look, you see the past. Even the person beside you, if there is one, appears to you as they were a fraction of a second ago, because light takes time. Even across a room, you are not seeing the world as it is. You are seeing it as it was by the time that light gets to you. So what, then, is the present? You may think of Tima as a series of moments, tiny pearls strung on a thread, each one complete, separate, yours. But the universe doesn't offer such clear divisions. There is no universal now, no great clock that strikes the same second for every galaxy, every atom, every breath. Einstein showed us this gently through the quiet mathematics of relativity. To people moving at different speeds or resting in different gravity, do not agree on what now means. One's present might be another's past or future, depending on where they are and how they move. Time, it turns out, is more personal than universal. The present isn't a shared stage. It's a feeling shaped by where you stand, how you move, how your mind gathers moments together. Even your brain does not give you now as a single point. It blends sight, sound, and touch over brief windows of times, so your world feels whole. When you see a bird take flight, your brain smooths the motion, binding flashes of light and tow, a single act. But in reality, each sense moves at its own speed. Each piece of your world rivs out of sync. Still, you don't feel the gap. You feel presence, a graceful illusion, a gift your mind gives you. You are not broken for this. You are beautifully built to live in an echo that feels like now. And this echo, this soft delays, long innato, create harmony, but short innato feel real. So perhaps the present isn't a moment bet, a gentle smear across time, like the glow of twilight buoying night and day. And still, we seek it. We speak of being present, of living in the now. We meditate, breathe, paused, trying to catch it before it slips away. But maybe you don't need to catch it. Maybe now is not a thing to hold. Maybe it is something you float within, because even as your thoughts drift to yesterday, to tomorrow, your body stays here, breathing, beating, flowing. This, too, is presence. And even the earth, spinning softly under your bed, does not experience now all at once. Sunrise, Hiraea's, midnight, elsewhere. Spring, Hiraea's, autumn, far away. So your now is not everyone's now, and that's okay. The illusion of the present is not a flaw. It's a thread woven by mind and matter, by light and feeling. You live in a world off delays, of traveling signals, of light catching up, but somehow you still feel anchored. You still feel here. That's not failure, that's grace. So tonight, as you rest beneath stars that shine from deep in the past, remember this: you are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you are, in a moving frame where memory and presence breathe together. And even if the present isn't fixed, you are dot. You are the meeting point of light and thought, of space and heartbeat, of what has arrived, and what is still on its way. And what is still on its ways, always coming closer. You might wonder, then what happens when something moves away? When galaxies stretch apart and light begins to fade, changing caleras, it retreats. The answer lies ahead, drifting softly. In Chapter 8, The Redshift of Goodbyes, ripple travels across the cosmos, a gravitational wave. We follow the soft tremor that reveals how massive bodies whisper across the fabric of everything. You are still, so still. The world feels motionless with you, but the universe does not wait. It moves. It pulses. Even silence has rhythm tonight. You drift deeper, not into darkness, but into the fine, unseen threads that hold all things together. Space is not silent. Though it makes no sound, it listens, and sometimes it shivers. This is not the shiver of wonder, the tremble of fear. It is older, deeper, the soft, distant ripple of by something massive, by something ancient, a gravitational wave. Imagine space as a still pond. Throw 2 pebbles in and watch the circles ripple out. Now imagine the pond is Spakely and the pebbles, 2 black holes, spiraling into each other, dancing their final fatal waltz. As they spin closer, faster, they disturb the pond, and ripples begin. Waves of gravity, soft as breath, travel outward. They move through everything, through galaxies, through starlight, through time itself, and dash eventually through you. You do not feel them, not with your skin, not with your ears, but they pass through your body, like a whisper, so soft it is closer to thought than sound. You lie in your bed, your pillow gently curved under your head, and a gravitational wave flows through you, stretching the space between your ribs the width of a proton, then letting it go. It happens again and again. Tiny shifts, quiet breathings in the fabric of the cosmos. For most of history, we didn't know these waves were real. Einstein predicted them, but even he wasn't sure they would ever be felt. They are so faint, so impossibly delicate, that for 100 years they remained theory. But we listened, we waited, and in 2015, Earth finally heard one. It came from a place over 1 billion light-years away. 2 black holes had collided. Their final echo took over 1 billion years to reach us, and for a fraction of a second, space itself stretched and squeezed, and instruments on Earth caught the sigh. It was not loud, it was not bright, but it was unmistakable. And from that one sigh, we learned that space can carry stories. You don't hear gravitational waves with ears, you detect them with lasers, mirrors, perfect stillness. Machines like LIGO, long tunnels with beams of light, can notice when space stretches just a little, just enough to whisper. A wave has passed through, and suddenly the universe opens more of itself, not through light, not through sound, but through touch. These waves are a new kind of seeing, a way to feel what cannot be seen. Black holes, so dark they give no light, can now be known. Neutron stars, so dense they are barely understood, can now be heard in the quiet language of ripples. And what is most moving, most poetic, is that these waves are not scent, they are not messages, they are consequences. They are the result of motion, of gravity, of endings and beginnings, and a scale almost too large to picture. They are not sounds, they are not light, they are space itself saying, something happened, and you are not separate from this story. Your body, too, creates tiny waves, not large enough to travel, but real. Every motion, every change in gravity alters space in some small way. You are not just moving through space, you are reshaping it as you go. Even your stillness, your restful pause tonight has weight. It bends space beneath you. You are part of the shape of the world. And now, with these waves, you can feel the universe beaming more alive, not louder, but fuller, because for so long, we've only seen the sky. Now we can feel it, and this feeling, this new kind of listening, may one day let us know how stars are born, how black holes breathe, how the universe began. Gravitational wave scan tell us what light cannot. They move through dust, through time, through the edges of the visible. They are soft, truthin, a language without words. And as you drift here, wrapped in the stillness of this night, they pass through you, as if to remind you, you are not just an observer. You are part of the fabric. You are part of the trembling dot and the universe with all its weight. Its time, its motion knows you're here. But where do these waves go after they pass through? Do they ever end? Do they fade? Or do they stretch onward forever through a universe that might itself have an edge? That soft question waits like the horizon of thought. In Chapter 9, if you left Earth forever, inside you, time is not steady. It stretches when you wait, shrinks when you dream. This chapter listens closely to how your brain bends seconds into meaning. You lie still tonight, your limbs soft with rest, your breath a quiet tide, and yet within you, time is anything but still. Seconds do not tick evenly in your mind. They stretch like taffy in moments of boredom, or vanish like smoke when you're lost in thought. Time does not pass equally everywhere, not even within you. Inside your brain, time flows according to feeling, to attention, to wonder. And so you become a traveler, not through space, but through the rhythm of moments. Consider this: you touch a hot surface just for a second, but it feels like a lifetime. The pain stretches that moment. Sharpness gives it weight. Your brain widens the spotlight. Everything slows. Now remember the times you laughed or dreamed or fell in love. Hours gone in what felt like minutes. Your awareness narrowed, and time slipped, passed like water between fingers. You are not broken when this happens. You are not confused. You are deeply human. Your sense of time is not a clock. It is a painter. It layers emotion and memorito, create the feeling of duration. Your brain has many clocks, small, quiet ones, ticking in hidden places. Some are chemical, some electrical, some shaped by heartbeat, some by breath. They count not just time, but rhythm. They help you walk, speak, sing, understand. One clock lives in your basal ganglia, deep and ancient dot. Another in your cerebellum, balancing motion and flow. A third may hum inside your cortex, guiding how you feel the now. They work together, but they do not always agree. Time, even in your body, is a consensus, a negotiated truth, and sleep, the state you drift toward, now changes everything. When you dream, you lose the sense of real time. You may live horse in the space of a few minutes. Your dream world ignores the clock. It follows logic of emotion, of need, of memory. Your body lies still, but your mind moves fast. Scenes unfold, places shift, time loops and blurs. Your dreams remind you, time is not fixed. It can be shaped, it can be skipped, it can be folded inward. Even in waking life, your memory bends time. You remember big things, short moments. You remember wedding us forever. Time in your mind is braided with attention, with context, with presence. This is why silence feels long when you're anxious. why music feels short when you're dancing, why childhood summers feel vast, are remembered now as flashes. You are not just experiencing time, you are building it moment by moment, like stacking stones into meaning. And there is something else. Your heartbeat marks time too. It beats faster in fear, slower in calm, and your brain listens. It uses those rhythms to tell you how long things feel. The more signals you receive from heart, from breath, from senses, the fuller the moment, and fuller moments feel longer. So when life is new, when you're a child, everything is vivid. Your brain records more. Time feels wide as you age. Routine settles in, fewer new signals, less novelty, and time feels fast. The years blur, but you can shift this. You can slow time, gently, not with force, but with attention. Walk through a garden, smell the air, notice a petal, a stone, a shadow moving across your hand. And suddenly, time stretches. It becomes soft again. You return to your own rhythm. You carry a time machine in your chest, not one that moves yawak across centuries, but one that changes how time fills inside you. And as you lie here tonight, you move in 2 times the outer world, with its ticking clocks, and the inner world, with its waves of memory, of breath, of dream. They don't always match, and they don't have to. You are not a prisoner of time. You are its maker. Even now, your body is preparing to shift, to leave the sharpness of waking, to enter the blurred time of sleep. In that space, you will travel far without moving. You will feel long stories in short hours, and when you wake, you'll feel different, as if your body moved through time mine, a way clocks can't explain. And perhaps they can't, because your journey isn't measured by seconds, it's measured by wonder. But what happens if you move far beyond this earth? If your body, this time machine of flesh, drifts endlessly through space, does time change again when there's no planet beneath your feet? That quiet question waits for you, far still, yet near. In Chapter 10, The Edge of Space, the end of time, Matt, the edge of the known, pull of the sun, beyond the comfort of clocks. Here, a weightless breath in the chest of the universe. But even now, pushing them apart like gentle breaths blown into an invisible balloon. This expansion is not within space. It is space, the fabric, stretching itself, not something growing into something else, but something making more of itself as it goes. And with that stretch, something else changes: time in the presence of gravity. But it stretches, thins, drifts. If you could ride the edge of space, you'd feel time loosen, not break, just blur. And if you continue, if you passed every star, every whisper of matter, you would approach what scientists call cosmic horizon. This is not a wall, not a border, but a soft limit, the distance beyond which light will never reach you, because the space between us growing faster than light can travel. It means that some galaxies are already beyond goodbye, not because they moved, but because the space between you stretched too fast for light to return. It is not an edge you can touch. It's a boundary written in time. And yet, you are still here, still drifting, still wondering what lies beyond the horizon. What happens when space stretches so far, stars burn out, and black holes evaporate, and only the cold remains? This is not science fiction. This is a possible future. Physicists call it the heat death of the universe. a time when energy is so evenly spread that nothing more can happen. No stars, no change, no difference, just quiet. Imagine a fire burning, out not in flame, but in stillness. Entropytha, natural spread of energy, has reached its peak. All the useful patterns dissolved, everything, fide dento, sameness. But even then, space might still stretch. A silent balloon expanding in a room no one enters. Time, at that point, loses meaning, because without change, without difference, what is time? You count time through motion, through heartbeats, through seasons, but when nothing moves and nothing changes, can you still say that time flows? Some say no, some say time ends it with a bang, where gravity pulls everything inwardance again, a rewinding, or a big bounce, where one universe ends and another begins. There are theorists with multiverses, with new beginnings, with eternal inflation, and yet two are here. You are not floating. In the end, you are breathing in the middle, the edge of space. Where does it all go? You are also asking, where am I in all this? And the answer is not small. You are made of atoms forged in stars. Your body carries the ecosoph, dying sun sand, ancient collisions. You are not separate from the universe. You are its voice, its wonder, its moment of awareness. And when you dream of time's end, you are also dreaming of meaning, of how moments pass. This your moment is full, not full of facts, not full of answers, but full of feeling. And sometimes that's enough, perhaps in the farthest future. When nothing stirs and space is empty, the memory of moments like this will still shimmer in some quiet corner of what was, not as data, not as light, but as presence. Because even if time ends, its echo may remain, a soft breath held forever between what wasn't, what might be. And so you wonder if all things come to stillness. Is there something gained? The other side, a mirror, a return, a doorway. Chapter 11, The Other Side, or the End. Before the first second was there time. We visit the breathless hushby for the Big Bang's fire, and wonder if silence is where it all begins again. You lie still now, deeper into the night. The world is quiet. Even your thoughts move more slowly, like drifting clouds across a wide, dark sky. And in that quiet, you begin to wonder, not just about endings, but beginnings. What came before everything? Before stars, before atoms, before even light, before time itself, if such a thing is possible. We often speak of the Big Bang as a beginning, a spark, a great unfolding. But what if we drift back even farther? Before the flash, before the fire, to the breathless moment, before moments began. Was there time then? Was there space? Or only a stillness too soft to measure? Science can take you close as thought will allow. We know that time, as we understand, it begins with the Big Bang, but the moment before that remains wrapped in silence, not because no one has looked, but because time itself did not exist to be measured. It is like asking, what is north of the North Pole? The question breaks apart because the idea itself is curved. The equations suggest that the universe was once unimaginably small, not small in size like a pebble but dense, tight, everything folded inward, not within space, but space itself, curled, tight, not during time, but time itself, wound to a still point. What does that feel like? Imagine a note so pure, so steady, it becomes silence. Imagine stillness, not from absence, but from everything being one thing so unified it cannot move, cannot change, cannot breathe. This is not a void, not a nothingness, but a potential so perfected, has yet to unfold, and then it does. In a trillionth of a second, the universe begins to expand, time ignites, space stretches, light is born. The silence breaks not in noise, but in difference, in contrast, in something becoming two things, from uniformity, a spark dot, from stillness, motion, from silence. Story. This is the beginning of time as you know it, the beginning of heat and matter and breath. And even though it happened nearly 14 billion years ago, its echo remains. You hear it in the microwave hum that fills the sky. Not sound, but light stretched, thin be age and expansion, a whisper of the original fire, still drifting. This background glow, cosmic microwave background, is not just evidence, it is memory, the universe remembering its own birth, and you are part of that memory, because everything that exists now was once part of that tight beginning. Every atom in your body was once packed in that silence, not floating through it, but being it. You are made of echoes. You are made of the first hushed for, the first breath. And though science cannot yet say what came before, some wonder, was there another universe, a cycle, a bounce? Did the last universe collapse into itself, compressing down until it sparked again? If so, then silence is not the end. It is the pause between heartbeats. And if that's true, then perhaps everything we call beginning is simply a return. But we do not know. Not yet. We press against the veil with math, with particle collisions, with questions, and the silence answers not with words, but with the space for wonder. You feel that space now. Here in the dark, you feel the quiet bore thought before sound, before even your name. This quiet does not ask you to understand, only to rest in it, to float in its gentle not knowing. And as you do, you begin to wonder something deeper still. If silence came before all things, might it return again? And if it does, will it return us the end or a sanador beginning? Chapter 12. You, suspended in the infinite too, are not apart from space and time. You are space and time, braided into the shape of a life. This final chapter floats gently into the comfort of belonging. You lie here, quiet, still in your bed, but part of something vast. Your breath rises and falls, softly marking time, while your body rests held in the gravity of this moment. And yet, even now, you are not entirely here, because every part of you, every cell, every thought woven from the same fabric thought, makes galaxies swirl and stars ignite. You are not standing outside the cosmos, peering in. You are it, an expression of the universe's motion, in pause, in feeling. Space curves gently beneath you, cradling your weight. Time carries you forward, even in sleep, and the atoms in your hands were once part of a star thought lived and burned deed long before the earth was born. You are not merely in the universe, you are of it, a ripple, a moment, a pattern that briefly remembers itself. Pause here, let that truth wash through you, not like knowledge, but like warmth. You are made of distances, the empty spaces between protons and electrons, the quiet tension that holds your form together. You are mostly emptiness, but that emptiness is not a flaw. It is the stage in which the dance happens. Your thoughts, they unfold in the space between neurons. Your memories, they stretch across the tapestry of your changing self, and your feelings, they ripple through a body that is never still, never separate, never truly alone. The universe moves through ewas, much as you move through it. When light travels from a distant star, it may take millions of years to arrive, but the moment it touches your eye, its long journey ends in your awareness, in you. You are the meeting place, the point where time folds in, where space becomes sensation, where the distant becomes present. And so much of this happens without your asking. Your heart keeps time. Your breath sings softly. Your body rotates with the planet beneath. A sky thought never stops expanding. You are always in motion, even in stillness, always suspended between the smallest scallion, the widest one, inside your cells. Molecules dance following the patterns that echo the very birth of the cosmos, and around you, space stretches silently, not rushing, but breathing, as if the universe itself is a pulse, and you are part of that pulse, a beat in the long, unfolding rhythm of everything. This is not metaphor. This is physics. This is biology. This is the deep truth beneath all the noise. You belong. You are not lost in the universe. You are held by it. You are not drifting without meaning. You are the meaning drawn in gravity, shaped by time, lit by thought. From the carbon in your bonesto, the silence behind your isotol, something older, something vaster, something beautifully whole. So when you feel small, remember, small things make stars, small forces shape worlds. And even now, as you listen, you are part of the unfolding, not apart, suspended, not in nothing, but in everything. And as you close your eyes, let that thought be a cradle. Let it rock, wean, the deep rhythm of belonging. There is no edge to this, no outside, only you, here, now, forever, gently moving through the infinite. And perhaps, if you listen quietly enough, you'll hear what the stars are saying back.